Here. All right, 3, 2, 1, and poof! Hi! Hello, hello. All right, let me make sure. Hi, welcome, welcome. We are going to have an orientation. This is geared more towards parents. We're going to be going over the structure of the science course and so forth for the next, I want to say 30, 45 minutes. I always go long, so maybe an hour, but we're gonna have some fun together. Let me make sure we're not having that echo problem here. Looking good. All right. So we are streaming on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 streams right now. Multiple streaming. So this is not a pre-recorded thing. Although if you're watching the recording, then I guess it is. But this is live right now. Hi. How was your summer? Did you guys have good summers? Yes, I had a great summer. I had a really great, so much I'm still kind of back there. Anybody's brain still kind of in relaxing mode. It hasn't quite hit you that it's September yet. So my kids are excited when September rolls around because that's when they get to see all their friends again. Everybody's coming back from vacations again. So yay. All right. Well, we got 4 minutes before we start. Let's make it so you guys can chat and rename yourself and all of that stuff. So hello, we have quite a few kids on. So kids are always welcome. You know, we love kids here, so that's good. Those of you who are new, my name is Aurora. I started as a mechanical engineer. Actually, I was one of the things you'll hear me talk about during the year is when I was 17, I was very ambitious. I was working on my pilot's license. I was going to night classes at the local community college, and because my school didn't have the level of classes I was ready for. And this is back, I know it's more common now, but nobody did that back then. Back in the late 80s, early 90s. I was also working on getting my high school diploma, right? So I was in high school, I was in college and high school at the same time. I was working at NASA once a week with the engineers I was apprenticed to there, working on my pilot's license. It was a big year, busy year. So, and that's really where I got my start. And the following year I met my husband, and just for nostalgic reasons, I brought my very first science book. You guys want to see it? This is my very first book. He actually gave it to me. He's got a big page-long inscription on the inside. I don't know if you can get it anymore, but it's 700 Science Experiments for Everyone. So I got this. It's not for the faint of heart. There's a lot of pictures and diagrams, but this is thick, dense stuff to fit it 700 experiments in like this amount of space. This is a really old book that got republished. So I just want to give a shout out to my husband this morning, saying thank you so much for giving me the fuel I needed to really launch a career, a lifelong career in education and in science and in physics and all of that. So I already like science, but I didn't realize how hands-on and fun it could be. So there you have it. Here, I'll put this one here. So some people are asking about it. There we go. All right. And I'm going to talk about books and so forth that that I would recommend for your library if that's something that you do. All right. Hello. My mom will be here soon. You're sitting in for her. No problem. All right. Should we get started here in just a minute? So one of the things I would like to know, actually 2 things right now, if you could type them in for me before we get started. Thing number 1. So kids, I would be talking to you, or parents, I'm talking to you. What would you like me to cover this year? Like, what is the most important thing that your kid is going to get from joining me for a year with science? Okay, so if it could be a subject, it could be a specific character trait, it could be anything you want. What is it that you are hoping to get? What is your top goal for your student this year? Basically, why did you join? What do you want to get out of it? So type that in right now. The second thing is, well, here, type. I'll wait to ask the second thing. So go ahead and type. All right, what's your number 1 goal? What is it that you want? Like anything you're going to spend time, money, investing your resources in, right? We're going to spend a lot of time together this year. Tell me what it is. What are your expectations for the class? And then I will share mine as well. Woohoo! That's your expectation. Okay. Maybe a little bit more than just a explicative, or is that an explicative? Like a sound? We'll do a lot of woohooing in class, absolutely. So maybe that wasn't the answer to my question. Having fun learning. Robotics would be great. We're in the UK. It's hard to get courses. Yes. Okay. So take notes right now. Robotics question. You want to look up student robotics education, and they are worldwide. It is run by my son, my oldest son, Ben, and he does online courses for parents and coaches. So check that out. The other thing is robotevents.com shows you worldwide. It's the biggest directory of all robotic events that there are. Okay, good. And yes, we will do robotics. Okay, hands-on activities. Good. Science is not a strong subject. Don't like doing experiments. I want someone to lead my kiddos. No problem. So if you just want to drop your kids off at the door and just like go have time for yourself, parents, you can do that. So that's actually how we started this live series 5 years ago. It was during COVID. The very next day, so after everything was closed and announced that schools were closing and all that, we got on and said, come see me. It's free. I taught 5 days a week for, I think, 6 months straight. And it was all free. And literally I said, just come see me for 90 minutes. I will take care of your kids. Go do whatever you need to do. And then the kids and I. So that's kind of how this started, where I was teaching much more regularly than I used to. So I used to do 1 or 2 a month. And then I thought, hey, this is actually kind of fun. I want to keep going. So, but I've been teaching live for a long time. In fact, somebody asked, I had 2 kids. One kid asked what grade I'm in, and I counted it up. I think it was like 24th grade. And the other kid says, how long have you been teaching science? And I'm like, well, how old are you? And I think they said 9. I'm like, okay, so you want to multiply that by 3. And so I've been doing this for a while. Okay, so I love science. I'm not great at hands-on experiments. Yes, that's what science is based on. We do experiments to answer questions that we have about the world. That's what science isn't about what you know. Like you could look it up what like the life cycle of a frog is and tell me that isn't science. Science is how you handle what you don't know. And that's what we're going to teach your kids. The structure. It's a way of thinking about things. That's why science is different than teaching a lot of other subjects. Those subjects can be involved with science. In fact, they usually are. History, reading, research, writing, math, all that stuff is in there. But science is a framework. It's a way we have of approaching the world and observing things and then having questions and answering those questions about trying to explain what it is that we're observing. And that's what science is, and that's what you're going to get to do this year. So I'm really excited. All right, should we get started? Yay! I know I have a second question to ask. Second question is, what grades are your kids in? This one should be fast. So what ages are they or grades? Either one, just tell me which one it is. Give me a unit so I know what that number means. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome, everyone. This is Aurora with Supercharged Science and Supercharged Math, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. I am so excited that you're going to be joining us for our science experience this year. So I'm going to be giving you a tour of the website. I'm going to show you how the curriculum works and how you can get the most out of it. So grab a pencil. It's very interactive. You're going to ask me questions. I'm going to answer them live. You have me for a whole hour if you would like it. So I am here. So we are going to start classes. I see that question already. Classes start on Monday. I teach at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So that's 11 for Mountain, 12 for Central, 1 for Eastern. Okay, so that's the date and time I'm going to be teaching for the fall term. And we're going to be covering a lot of topics together. So let's go ahead and just dive in and get started. So the first thing you'll do is, well, it's an online program. So one of the things that we have is an online website. So even though it's an online website, if you've joined me for classes before, you know that your kids are going to be spending most of their time building things, constructing things. If you were part of our free week of science, there was the part that they were on the computer for was small compared to the amount of time they actually spent doing their work. And that's what we want. We don't need yet another program where your kids are glued to a screen. So I'm going to be giving the introducing science topics. There's going to be a new topic every week, and your kids will participate with me. That usually lasts about a half an hour. And then there's about 15 to 20 minutes where I'm answering questions. The structure this year is different from last year in that I'm actually going to start you doing the experiments in class. So I can be here as you get started. Now, in the past, these were called Zoom show and shares. So we're going to be combining them with our time together on a weekly basis. So So for example, I'll introduce a topic. We're going to be starting the year with the physics of motion. So we're going to talk about what motion is, what the forces are, how forces are different than energy. And then when we introduce a few of those concepts, what we're going to do is sometimes we'll have experiments in class. Sometimes we'll have them outside of class. We'll always have them outside of class, but sometimes we'll integrate a few experiments during class. And then once I've introduced the topic, it's going to be your turn. So you're going to have two different options. One, you will get to do a design challenge if you'd like, or you can just go step by step through the experiments that I've already pre-recorded. Everything's already written up. There are downloadable student worksheets with all of that. Everything's printed up, so it's really easy for you as a parent. Okay, does that sound like fun? And then the following week, we roll into another topic, and we roll into another topic, so it's super fun. Okay, so let me back up because I kind of got off on it. I'm just so excited. All right, so let me back up. So if you're new to the program, there are a few ways to work through the science curriculum, and let me outline what that is right now. So the first way we have is to go by grades, and this is pretty typical. So when you get on the website, you'll log in. And by the way, if you have login problems, just let me know immediately. Aurora at superchargedscience.com. Just let me know so we can fix that right away. Okay, so usually the login box, it looks like I don't have a mouse. Let me fix that. The login box is right over here normally. And so you'd log in, and then the website looks like this. And you have a couple of choices on how to work through the curriculum. Okay, so the first way is grades. Now, it's pretty typical, right? You think, oh, I have a fourth grader. I'm going to go into fourth grade science. Okay, so that you can do that. So here, click on grades. And by the way, this part is kind of new. In fact, I'm still putting the finishing touches on it. So let me show you what I mean. So for this year, say I've got a third grader. So say you want to do you've got a third grader, you want to do science. How do you do that? So you go, this is new, yay! We have lesson plans for the entire year all printed out for you. Everyone clap, yay! We've been meaning to do this for a while. What do the lesson plans look like? They look like this. That one's for first grade. Here's the third grade one. And so you'll see the subject, you'll see a concept, and the experiment that goes with it. And so this is earth science, and we have it for physics. So all of this is laid out step by step for you on the website. Cheers, yay! I feel like I get a gold star for doing this, yay! So as of this recording, I have first, second, third, fourth, and fifth already finished, published, posted. I'm working on 6th, 7th, 8th. So those will be coming. So there's going to be coming very soon. So just know that we already have the high school already done. So 9, 10, 11, 12 is already done. Okay, so I'm still working on the last couple ones. So yay! Lesson plans. So what do you do? Suppose you got a third grader, you click on grades, you get to, you click on third grade, you get to this page. This is an introduction video. It's like 5 minutes. It shows you what to do, what I'm going to be showing you now. Download the third grade lesson plan. So you're going to open that up, and let's make it a 2-page format. Okay, so this is the lesson plan, and it's 1 page for each subject. So if we look more carefully, let's see, where'd third grade go? There we go. So in third grade, we can study earth science, we could study physics, we could study astronomy, we could study life science. You can do these in any order, whatever order you'd like. And so you'd click on one, okay, and then you go to the page here that says astronomy, and that's your lesson plan. And so all of these things you're going to be doing. So at the top it says watch astronomy 1. So we go back to the page and we say, okay, astronomy 1, that's this one. So we're going to watch, this is a lesson with a teacher that explains the concepts, and at the end you're going to go do your experiment. So scroll down, and those are the experiments. And then you'll go back up and it says, and then here's your next video. And then you'll scroll down and do some more experiments. And you follow the lesson plan, and it tells you which experiments and which videos. And everything is all laid out for you. And when you go into each one of these experiments, there is step-by-step instructions on video. And if it's applicable, we also have them printed below. And then underneath the experiment video, it will have, we have about 700 of these. There's about 2,500 experiments. There's a lot. 700 of those have worksheets. It's just to get you started. And then we want you to make your own worksheets. And we teach you how to do that. So this is, it's a really big one because there's step-by-step instructions. And then there's data tables, there's exercises and so forth. So everything that you need is all laid out in one place. When you're done with this section, this subject, right, because third grade is going to do multiple subjects, What you can do is download the learning evaluation, and there's one for every grade level, every subject within every grade level. So there's one for life science in 3rd grade. There's one for, what else? Not chemistry. What else? One of the other subjects, I think it was physics. So there's one for every one of these, and it's a way to assess what your child has picked up. There's a homework assignment. Educational goals are clearly laid out. Homework assignment is here. There's a quiz with the answer key. And there's also, now students usually like these the most. These are lab practicals. This is where you give your student a pile of materials and you ask them a question and you say, design an experiment to answer this question. And that's what a lab practical is. And those we use actually at the university level, so that's why they're here. Okay, how are we doing so far? How are you guys feeling about this? Put a look on your face, parents. Let me see. Oh, parents, turn on your videos. You're not being recorded right now. Let me see your beautiful faces. I'm just now looking at the Zoom thing. How are we feeling about this? Isn't this fun? I see a lot of kids going, yay! Okay, yay for structure. Okay, so if at the end of astronomy, your 3rd grader's like, Mama, that's not enough, but I want more. No problem. The words are blurry. Yeah, that happens with Zoom sometimes. I apologize, but the recording will be very clear. But you see where to click, and you can just do this on your own screen. Okay, and so, but I'm sorry about blurriness. So if you go back and you say, okay, well, we've done 3rd grade oh, you can't see. 3rd grade astronomy, I want more astronomy. I don't want just what's appropriate for 3rd graders. My kid is ready for all of it. That's great. So what you'll do is click on topics. And now this isn't just parsed out for what's appropriate for 3rd grade or 6th grade or 9th grade, it's all of it. And so you scroll down until you find the word of what you want. So in this case, it would be Unit 7, Astronomy, Astrophysics. And so you click on that, and now you're going to get like all 186 experiments. So everything is in there. And usually it's too big of a pile of experiments, so we kind of section it into modules. And so you'd pick on the module that you're interested in. And you can go in any order. Okay, and so that's the basic idea there. And it's so this is going through by topic. So if you just want to do a deep dive all year, you just want to do one subject, then you would go through by topics. But if most kids like to do more than one topic in a year, it's up to you. If you want to do that, you could go through by grades and know that the big fat update for this year is we now have lesson plans. So yay. Somebody's asking, do you do grades by live? Okay, so if you're doing grades, you're watching, everything is recorded. Everything's already up, right? Because you saw the recordings of the teacher-led lessons, then you're going to go to the experiments and the teacher-led lessons. Those teacher-led lessons came from the archives of live classes for the past 4.5 years that I've been doing. So that's where those lessons came from. And that's why it's taking me so long to put them together for 6, 7, 8, because those units are really big. So I'm still finishing that up. Okay, so grades 6th, 7th, and 8th, I am currently actively working on. They'll be published soon. I don't have an exact date for you, but I'm just going to say soon. So those are coming. You should have those in your hands very soon, and I'm working as hard as I can on it. Because those of you who are on my math program know you got a brand new website yesterday. So that's what took a lot of my time. So I made the entire website for math and just released it yesterday. So that's what's going on. So now I can shift my focus and finish the science lesson plans. So yay! So those will be available to you. Okay, great. Are there lesson plans with topics? Okay, so with topics, what you're going to get is just the experiments. So topics is just experiment. Okay, here's how you handle topics. And the answer is yes, there are lesson plans, but they're not in topics. Okay, so one way to go through the program is by grades, right? And that makes sense. Everybody nod your head. The grade part makes sense. We're good. Ask me questions if you need it, but I think we've covered that. Okay. The popular way to go through the program is live with Aurora. Okay, so we have a series of live classes, and here's what I've done. So when I teach live, what I'm basically doing is going through topics in a specific order. So for example, when we start next week, I will be going the lesson plans, and I'll show you where everything is. I'll be going through Unit 1. The following week, Unit 2. The following week, Unit 4. The following week, actually, Unit 4 takes us a few weeks to go through. And so I work through it in a specific order. I don't go numerically just because it doesn't work well. but I do work through a lot of the topics that you will find here. Oh wait, no, these aren't topics, these are grades. So a lot of the topics that are found under the topics area. Okay, so the live classes, you can work through live when I'm live, like I'm live with you, or you can just watch the recordings so your students can pause and say, wait, what did she say? Or I need to listen to that again. So either way, the teacher introducing the topic is under live classes. Okay, and we called it live classes so you'd know that's where the live classes are. Okay, so let's dive into the live classes because that's where a lot of our students like to go. Okay, so for live classes, we have a new series of classes every academic year, and the structure is physics in the fall. So we lay all the foundation for physics of motion, physics of sound, all of the principles that we're going to build on for the rest of the year. We do that in fall. And then what we do, we have a winter break, yay! And then January through when we do summer camp, so the end of May, so January through May, for the next 5 months, we apply the worlds of physics to the real world. So that means our topics are going to be more in engineering, also in chemistry, biology, astronomy, so anything where we're applying those physics concepts to the real world application, solving problems, that happens in the second half of the year. So that's the basic big structure to it. Okay, so what does that look like? So there's a packet you can download and read, or I can just tell you what it is. So we have a Google Calendar that has all of our classes on it, and you'll see that we have classes most days, and it's probably too small to read, but you can subscribe to it if you'd like. So here's the main classes. So suppose you want to join me for live classes. Like what does science look like in a week, for a week? Okay, so what happens on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern? You come to this page, there'll be a Zoom link that I send you an email, and then you join me on Zoom just like you are right now, and then we will be covering a different topic every week. So this one says week 1 mechanics. We're going to cover forces, gravity, and friction. There is a downloadable student worksheet. This is your lesson plan for the week. And so it's got information about what we're going to cover. So these are the topics. And then why you want to learn these. This is I love to read these from students when they submit them. And then it also has on page 2 what the materials are that you'll need for the experiment. So I'm going to introduce a concept, and then I'm going to say, okay, at the end of class, pick one of these experiments to get started with. Now, the reason why there just isn't one experiment, but there's like 10 or 12, it's because you all have different materials available. And so what you'll do is you'll go up to this and give this list to your kids and ask them to go on a treasure hunt around your house, find as many things as you can. Everything with a star after it are things we use over and over and over and over and over. So in fact, I left it over there. I have a shoebox full of stuff. So what you'll do is just get a box, and as you go through the year with me, just keep adding things that you're going to be needing. If you don't have something, that's fine. That's why there are multiple experiments. They will overlap in what they teach just based on the stuff that you have. So don't feel like you got to run out and get a bunch of stuff. Chances are pretty high that you have a lot of these materials available to you. And we also have the material lists by month, and so there's a big fat button. You can download it. It's right here. Do you see where it says download shopping list? Just click on that and you'll get it for the whole month. Okay, and here, let me close some of these tabs so I don't get too confused. Okay, so that's page number 2. So we had our educational goals on the first page, like what are we going to do this week, right? We have one of these for every single week. So this is week 1, physics. We're going to work on forces and motion and gravity. Okay, and then after you've got your materials, you'll come to class. You'll join me at 10 a.m. Pacific, and then this is on page 3. If you want your student to take notes during class, this is where they will do that. If your student is not a note taker or that's not important to you, that's fine. Feel free to use pages 3 onward for a homework assignment, for a quiz. You can use it however you like. I don't collect these. This is just for you. I do recommend that students put their questions, on the margins and stuff, and ask me questions during class. So whether they do it verbally or whether they do it in the chat box, it's up to them. All right, so we have several pages. Let me just kind of zoom out here so you see this better. Okay, so we have several pages of notes that are, we have different one exactly for every single week. Very good. And then we also have at the beginning of the month, or as appropriate, recommendations. Does anyone out there have a library that you're building? You've got special books that are really important. I see smiles. I love books too. And so, for example, I have the first one here. This is a book from the Navy. And this is something that we give our freshmen in mechanical. I taught mechanical engineering at Cal Poly. This is one of the books we give our incoming freshmen. It is fantastic. And so if you've got a kid who loves to tinker, loves to fix things, wishes they knew how everything worked, and you've got one of those, like there seems to be like one in every family. So if that person is a kid right now, this is the book you want to give them. It's small, it's skinny. It's called Basic Machines and How They Work. And so this is one of the books that we recommend for, and we're going to actually recommend it again in January. You don't these are optional. You can just, and we try to get inexpensive ones as well. Okay. And the other thing is vocabulary words. Those of you who are integrating science and incorporating and kind of getting other areas to work with. How do I say this politely? Education doesn't have to be quite so fragmented. You don't have to just do math. You don't have to just do science. You don't have to do spelling. Like, it doesn't have to be as compartmentalized. You can have a lot of crossover between them because we're writing reports. If scientists write reports, right? They need to know how to spell. They also have to know how to do history research and into historical documents and records. So there's a lot more crossover than is often presented in standard curriculum. So I fully support that. If you want to use it, there's vocabulary, there's spelling, and there's always an answer key at the back. For any of the fill in the blanks that your student might have missed. All right, so there's one of these for every single week for the entire year. Doesn't that sound like fun? Like I did all the work for you? So parents, what I would recommend is the month before, the week before, just print out all of the worksheets, have them in a binder, and when it's time for science, your student will pull that binder out, flip to the current page, and we will do class. You'll also have a little shoebox. In fact, I recommend 2 shoeboxes. Number 1, you're going to label it materials. Number 2, you're going to label it tools. So materials would be any of the things that were, like paper and rubber bands and bouncy balls or whatever it is we're using that week for our experiments, straws, tape, string, all that stuff. And in tools, well, I would put the tape in tools. So tools would be scissors, hole punch, anything that you can use over and over and over, masking tape, anything like that would go in the toolbox. And so now your student is responsible for their 2 boxes. They have a binder and they're doing science all year, which is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, how are we doing on this? You want to see these subjects for the year. Okay, so I only have the fall term up. We're still working on the worksheets for spring, so those will be done after I'm done with the grade levels. So we are going to be doing physics of light. So we're going to be doing physics of motion and sound in September, physics of light and lasers is going to be in October, and we're going to make holograms, and we're going to make laser light shows and all kinds of stuff. November is all about electricity, robotics, and magnetism. And so we're going to spend more time than we normally do. We have an extra class in here than we did last year. So every year the schedule's a little bit different. And then we are going to have winter break. There's the science party is scheduled the first week of December, and then you get December off. And if that sounds scary, like I still want my kids in school, you can use some of the recordings from a previous year and just fill those in on an interest basis. And then we resume on January 6th. And in January, we're going to do mechanical engineering. Then in February, we're going to have a whole month, which is actually going to be brand new, on civil engineering. Half of that's going to be new. Ben is going to co-teach with me. We're going to do mechanics and strength of materials. So we're going to look more into the geology and earth science side and take a look at the structure of materials, bring in a little bit of chemistry. That's new. March is astronomy month because that's those are the nights. How do I say this? Those are the nights where most of the astronomical objects will be up for most people on the planet. It happens to be in March. That's why we do astronomy in March. And then April is our deep dive month into a special topic. So last year we had biology. This year, drum roll, dun, 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 we're going to have chemistry. So we're going to have a whole month in chemistry. Yay! All right. And then if you have high school students, they can have a whole year of chemistry. So they can access Unit 22. And then, let's see, what are we in April? And then May is aviation. And so we are planning some fun things for aviation. You're going to meet some pilots. You're going to meet some fighter pilots. You're going to meet some test pilots. You're going to go on a flight with us in a real airplane. It's going to be super fun. So again, we are physics, all different kinds of physics, physics first in fall. And then we're going to apply that to different areas in the spring. Okay, so how are we doing? And the recording archive, somebody asked about that. That's at the bottom of this page. So this page is live classes. If you want to know what we have done in previous years, just go to the very bottom. Okay, now I'm going to pause and read because I see there are a ton of questions this came in. To clarify, for the live classes, you introduce the topic on the video, then the students pick the experiments and work on that after video. Yes. Oh, I should mention, here, let's go to last year's content, shall we? And, okay, so this is last year's content. So this is the page that we used, and I just moved it over. So for example, say we were in October, physics of light. Okay, so last year, it's going to have the same format as this year. What we did is you will find at the top, this is the material list, okay, the stuff you need for the month, and then how to keep a science journal, because we were introducing science journals and ideas. These green buttons about the color lab and the spectrometer labs, these were extra labs I mentioned in class that were good to do, but not on your worksheet, so I had little quick buttons. This is me talking and giving the presentation. So we're talking about what light is and how it works and giving some distinctions about the properties of light. And then near the end of class, I went over the worksheet and said, okay, this is your worksheet. Now what I want you to do, oh, it's kind of weird seeing myself there. What I want you to do is go to this page, and now we're going to take a look at these experiments. And then I think and then I continued and then I highlighted some of the things. At the end of the live class, so I'm going to introduce the topic. I'm going to show you on the worksheet where to go. Click on these experiments. So it's very easy to follow. And then I also issue design challenges. How many people like the design challenges that we do? Aren't those fun? Yes. Okay, so in addition to what's in the experiment list, I will also say, by the way, if you've done those, here's a more open-ended challenge I want you to do. Spectrometers, candy color lab, mirror maze. Usually there's just one. This week we had 3 for some reason. And the students can participate in one of those and do that for their experiment. It's much more, as I mentioned, much more open-ended, which is good for our more advanced students as well. So yes, we will have design challenges every single week. So yay. All right, so you will not be short on experiments. In fact, one lady didn't realize, she's like, I didn't realize you guys were all experiments. I'm like, well, that's kind of what science is. So she wasn't too sure she wanted to continue, but that's okay. We're not a good fit for everyone, but I like it because that's the way I found the world to work. Like, I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let me see. Let me try it. Let me do something different. So in addition, we are going to be asking kids to try new things, get comfortable with not knowing the right answer every single time, right at the back of the book, and being resilient. You know, a lot of times stuff doesn't work out in real life, and you got to know how to handle that. So we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about how to handle frustration. You know, what do you do if your experiment just doesn't work? It's like, well, welcome to life, right? So we're going to talk about, well, that's okay. In fact, real scientists, in fact, you'll get to hear from them, and a lot of times students will ask that question. And scientists are like, when I get the answer right, it's not nearly as exciting as when I don't get it right, when I miss the mark, when something happens, I expected this, but it went over here. And you'll hear the scientists in the field trips. Oh, I didn't mention field trips. You'll hear I'll mention them in a minute. Scientists say in the field trips, like, that's when I get excited. That's when I know, like, hey, there's something more to learn. And that's where they're like, hey, I feel like I'm a kid in a candy store. Like, this is so much fun. So your student will get to interact with scientists in our field trips. Speaking of which, we have a field trip coming up. Did you see it? I think I blazed right by it. So we have field trips, which are expert-led experiences for our students, and we have them as appropriate to whatever we're studying. So for example, in May, there's I think there's 5 field trips, maybe 6, and it just depends on what we're doing. And when we do astronomy, there's 8 field trips because we have all these astronomers and so forth. So field trip in marine biology, it's right here. So you want to make sure these are recorded. So if you miss one, it's okay. You can watch the recording. So what you'll do is you'll click here for September, and there's a page that's set up, and these are all the recordings. So right now there's no recordings because we haven't taught anything. But as we go through the year, this page will get built out, and all the recordings from me teaching live will show up here. along with design challenges and all of that. And then it will also have the recording whenever we did the field trip. Now we do one for marine biology to kind of kick off the year. We don't have a live class in marine biology, like we don't have a whole month in marine biology. So this one's fun to do just because we haven't done enough science to really warrant a field trip yet. So that's why we do this one here. I think they're in Hawaii, but I'm not sure. So we're going to have a ship-to-shore connection with a research vessel. You're going to be able to talk to the marine biologists that are on crew there. You'll get to take a tour of the ship. You'll get to see their underwater ROVs. This is a really fun one. We've done this one for a few years now, and it's super fun for the kids to interact with the scientists. Okay. I'm going to pause here because I've been going for 30 minutes. And then I'm going to talk about some books. But let me answer your questions. Yes, the Nautilus. That's right. Anybody can spell Nautilus right, I'll give you a point. All right, when do you email the Zoom links for the Zoom links are coming out on Saturday. I didn't want to give 2 emails that had Zoom links because I didn't want you to get confused. I only gave you this one so you'd know to connect to this class. Okay, but normally you'll have them for the whole month. So this weekend, I will send it to you and it'll be there. So if you signed up to join the live class series, you'll get the Zoom link will be right in the email. Okay, good. Is there an option to do classes without the live classes? Yes, so if you just sign up for the program, that's the option. And then if you want to add on the live class, participating in classes live and getting the Zoom links, that's great. You don't have to. I record everything except the parties. Just because the students interact with me and we can't have students recorded. So, and when I record, you'll see I record on Zoom, but the only thing I'm recording is myself. But for parties, it's much more interactive, so we don't record those. So you'll have access to all the classes, all the content. Okay, are there any test evaluations? Yes, so do you remember under grades, there was an assessment evaluation for every subject within that grade level. That's where the assessments are. If you're going through the live class series, we do a science party. We do a review session at the end of every month. So we're going to do physics of motion and sound. And then at the end of that, I'll say, hey, there's a science review. Sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's an hour, depends on how the scheduling works. But there is a review with the live class series every month. And if you are not part of the live class, but you want the review, what you do is you use the lesson plans. You can use the lesson plans as a review. And also there are exercise questions after every experiment, so you can use those too. So lots of opportunities. How much of the previous year is in this year? It's a mix. So a lot of the core ideas are the same because physics hasn't changed. So we're going to be covering the heat, light, and sound. And so that's going to happen in September about physics of the motion and so forth. But like last year, the format was different than the year before. So yeah, the concepts are the same. The challenges sometimes are a little bit different. What the students cover are usually at a different level from what they were the previous year. And the April deep dive is always different. So how much time outside of class should I plan for? So it depends on your educational goals for your child. So for example, if you've got younger kids on the younger side, it sounds like you do, for the rest of the question that got submitted, if it's just to love learning, then very little of that preparation. So I would spend time getting the materials ready. And if you've got like a kindergartner, they're probably not going to be taking notes during class, and that's fine. That's not the level that they're at. So just enjoy doing science, and you don't have to do the whole class. If you find that your student is only good for 10 or 15 minutes, watch the recording for 10 or 15 minutes, and that's enough for today. Tomorrow, pick it up where you left off, and then just keep going. So you can tailor fit it to your needs of your family. So yeah, so I would just make sure you've got the materials ready, because as soon as the kids participate in class, they're revved up, ready to go, and they want to start building now. So give them the materials list, have them hunt with you so they learn how to source things at your house and not just say, Mom, where's my stuff, right? Because if you do that, you're going to train them just to come to you. We want to teach our kids to fish for themselves. So it's a little bit more work up front, but show them how to find things. Or, well, Aurora used a popsicle stick here. We don't have that, but I got chopsticks and I found 3 pencils and 4 Lego bricks. I think that'll do the same thing. So, and that scientists do that all the time. Rarely do they use off-the-shelf. Rarely do they not use off-the-shelf, because off-the-shelf is materials. So materials that are easily accessible, so much cheaper for your project. Okay, the live classes, you introduce Yes, that's correct. I introduce the topic and then I'm going to stay on this year, which is different than last year, and start making sure that they are starting their projects. So whether they're doing the build challenge or they're starting to watch one of the videos, I'm here for an extra 10, 15, 20 minutes, making sure that they've got a good start on their experiments. So if they have questions, they can ask me right away. And that's what I used to do at the university. I would present things for the first, so it was 50 minutes for a university class. And I would present for the first, I want to say the first 35 to 40, and then I would stop and they would start their homework. And then I would just walk around. I'd say, put your desk together, make some friends, because this is your community for the next, we were on the quarter system, so 10 weeks. And I would walk around and I'd say, start the work on the homework. And it was a great way to interact and to see kind of where maybe I didn't cover something as well, or maybe they didn't understand something, kind of get them over that bump so they could keep going. So that's the plan. All right, so thankful for all your hard work and thank you. Yay, so it's easier to I want you all to be scientists. I want you all to do science at home all the time. And I want your house to look like a science museum. So wouldn't that be fun? And your kids are the docents. In fact, over the summer, I released how to create a natural history museum. And several students had sent in like sheds they had converted. One of them had like a tent they had made, and other people had, part of the garage, and they had done little tours. They were like, okay, Aurora, I found this, on a nature hike. I did this, I researched this. This was a nest that was abandoned. I think it's from this kind of bird. It was so cool to see the students like that passionate about what they were doing and kind of have a place for their little collections to live and so forth. One kid was charging, like he decided to not just have a natural history museum, but he got all the neighborhood kids to donate stuff, and it was all like his house, and so they all started charging the adults, and they were making money on it. All right, so other questions. How are the live science classes different? How do the live science classes cover different ages together? Good question. So there's a mix of, if you've been to any of my free classes, one of the things you'll notice is that we'll have introductory content, and then I will add a little bit deeper, a little bit more. So it's layered. So students that are on the younger side, or maybe it's the first time being exposed to a topic that they are, they'll just stick with the top layer. And then those who are a little bit deeper and who need a deeper understanding, now other things are going to make sense. And so that's why we study physics every year. It's not like, oh, I did physics. One lady came up and she goes, I already taught my kids physics. I'm like, oh, how old were they? And they're like, 7. I'm like, well, there are college degrees just in physics. Like there's so much more to learn. Like it isn't a one and done, let's check it off. I made dinner tonight, we're good. I don't have to do it again, right? We're constantly coming back to those principles, constantly learning more, learning things on a deep and meaningful level, applying it to the real world, making correlations and coming up with solutions that have never been seen before, because we're making connections with lots of different areas. So there's a lot to do, and a year is not enough. Okay, question. Is it possible to do all of the classes offered, or do we need to pick and choose? Electronics, should we talk about Brian? Let's talk about Brian for a second. Yay, and also Oliver, yes. Okay, so, we have a lot to do. Good questions, all of you. Brian had his orientation class yesterday. Those of you who joined and have your parts, they probably hopefully they look like this now, not a big mess of parts. Everything's organized, everything's labeled. So I've just been talking about myself the whole time. I've been talking about the classes I teach. So we teach a lot more than just once a week science. So if we go back to the live classes, let me just show you where to find everything. So click on live classes, and I'll click on it too. It will bring up a page with a button to this class. That's the red button. That'll go away after this class. Okay. So scroll down, and it will say, where did I put it? I have to put it in a more prominent spot. Oh, here it is, academic year. Okay, so it says you'll find all of the content, all of Aurora's classes are below. That's what we were exploring down here with physics of motion, physics of light. Okay, but then there's more. There is Brian's electronics, that's unit 25. So that's circuit design. That's open to any age. So any student that is ready can participate. So this is where we're taking resistors, transistors, we're building things on breadboards, we're learning how circuits work. It's not a virtual class, it is, you're actually taking these components, there's 3 boxes of these, components, or maybe 2 boxes, I forget how he's got it organized, and building stuff and different projects every week. And he also has an open lab where he will just hang out with you for an extra amount of time, I think it's an hour, and make sure you've got everything working. So he'll help you troubleshoot, he'll help answer the questions. So he does a really thorough job in circuit design electronics. So that's what we mean by the word electronics. You're physically building stuff. Okay, this year is, okay, last year he did coding the Arduino. All right, students, drum roll. We have a brand new class. Are you ready? Drum roll. Dun, 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 dun. Unit 29. He is introducing Python. And so he is doing a coding class. This is the very first time we've ever done anything like this. And he has done it before, just not through us. So he is doing something called MicroPython, which is appropriate for students that are starting coding. And so he has 2 different sets of classes. So electronics, that I mentioned before, you were circuit design, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, and MicroPython is Thursday, Friday, okay? And then in addition, so if electronics is not your thing, you don't have to do these. Those are just if you would like a little more, okay? Brian, his classes are different than they were last year. So if you did Brian's classes last year, I highly encourage you to take your kit and do them this year, because last year he did every other week. This year he's doing every single week. So he's got more content that he's going to be delivering. So yes, you've done some of it, but it's also good for you to revisit that because it's been a year, and then he's going to go into more depth and do more projects. So he's excited about that. All right, where are my biology lovers out there? Microscope lovers. Who are the kids and the parents that love biology? Okay, where are you? Perfect. Okay, you ready for a quick little story? Once upon a time, Aurora thought it was a great idea to teach biology. So she picked a month that she thought it would fit into the master schedule. It was February. What's it like at your house in February, outside, nature-wise? Is it a good time to learn about biology? And I see people shaking their heads and laughing. Right, so I live in California. It snows 0 days of year. It rains maybe 10. It's always springtime here where I live. So I have no problem. I look outside, the trees are always green. They don't change color here. We don't have seasons. So it's like living on the equator. So, so Aurora didn't realize most of the world doesn't get to live in a place like this. And so I would love to visit you sometime. So invite me to your house because I love seasons. I love it when it's cold because it's 70 degrees year round my house. All right, so some of the parents very politely, others not so politely, told me maybe February wasn't a great month. So I looked at the schedule again and realized there wasn't a good month because in a program that serves a worldwide audience, it's going to be lousy weather for somebody, right? Okay, this makes sense, right? So what I did instead is I created Unit 26, which is titled Biology, A Year of Biology. So what I did is I put all of my biology content and made a huge lesson plan for a full year. And the idea was that, so this is Unit 26, the idea is that you could do it at any time. And I also included some grocery store biology. So you're going to be getting the leaves from the grocery store, and some of the stuff in the produce aisle will work just fine for this biology class. Onions and potatoes and all that kind of fun stuff, right? Some beans in there. So this is available. And then, of course, the parents, and I love it when you give me feedback. I honestly do. I'm laughing now because it's funny. I'm like, so I thought that would be it, right? The end of the story. Well, the parents came back and said, oh, this is great, Aurora. We love it. And we want live classes. I'm like, well, how are we going to do that when it's like snowing outside? So then we decided to do live classes with Oliver. I think we started this 2 years ago. And he did once a month. He would do a live class. So Oliver is a microbiologist, which means he uses microscopes to see things that are really, really small, because that's really cool. It's fascinating. The whole microbe world is just amazing. Microorganisms world is amazing. But then we realized not everybody has a microscope. So isn't this a fun story? All right, so then what we decided, so Oliver and I were talking about it, and he's like, I tell you what, I'm going to teach biology. He's like, let's do 6 weeks in the fall and see how your students do. So starting next week, Oliver's going to be teaching live. Yay! And a microscope is not required. Now, it's never been required in the past. You could use the $20 digital microscope that we have a link to. That works too. It doesn't work as well as a compound microscope, but for those of you who don't have a microscope, it's okay. If you want to invest in one, we have a $100 version that we recommend that's good all the way till your kid gets to college. So if you don't have one, that's okay. But Oliver is going to be teaching for a 6-week. He's going to teach every other week. He's going to do some basic biology. Now, Oliver is normally in addition to being a researcher, he's also teaching high school biology. So he's in the field and he's in the education field as well. So he's a really unique combination. And he's from Austria, which means he teaches when his kids are sleeping. So it's 11 o'clock at night when he's teaching our classes because he's on the other side of the world. A lot of things go into this, don't they? Don't you just appreciate somebody put all this together for you so you didn't have to worry about this? Okay, so no, you don't need a microscope. There's some links here under Do I Need a Microscope? This is in Unit 26. And so if you want to study biology, take a look at the outline and pick and choose what you want to do. Not everybody is into dissections, for example, so skip that unit. Or maybe trees aren't available right now. That's okay. Maybe they're all bare where you are. That's okay. Just do what you have, what you are able to do. And the list for fall term is here. Okay, let me show you where to get the teaching schedules. So go to live classes. You guys are laughing. I love it. The comments you guys are giving me. So there are quick links here to electronics, MicroPython, and Oliver's classes. So what you do is scroll down to the where it says download your packet, and you see this picture of the teaching schedules. It says just download teaching schedule. And so click on that, and it's several pages. These are all of Brian's classes for fall. This is the electronics, this is the circuit design. The bottom half of that page is MicroPython. And then this is Aurora's classes. Okay, so this is everything that we talked about. And then Oliver's classes. And so everything is, you can just print out just the teaching schedules themselves if that's what you want. All right, can I pause again? All right, let me see. How are we doing? You guys want to talk to me? Here, let's have you talk to me. If you have a question, so students, let's have the parents talk with me right now, and then I'll interact with you too. Okay, we're not recording, so it's just us. So parents, if you have a question, you can unmute yourself while I am zooming through these questions. We're in a different time zone. Yes, I understand that happens with a worldwide audience. That's why we record everything. So you can do it on your own schedule. Watch the recordings anytime. We do vary the times of the parties, so hopefully you can make it. Sometimes they're in the morning, middle of the day, and the afternoon. Let's see. Questions. I have a lot of students trying to spell Nautilus. Field trips are available if you can't join live. Field trips are available. The recordings are posted in the month that we did them. And except for September, the topic matches. So you'll find astronomy field trips in astronomy in March. It's just the first month we haven't done a whole lot. So what is the best way to keep records? So Mark, if you let us know what your organization requires, we can help you with that. So every organization is different, every state is different, every country is different. Give us something to work with so we can help you. Yeah, okay. Let's see, the live classes. So if you remember way back when, and when we started this whole thing, we did include them and you've been grandfathered in. It hasn't been that way for a few years now, so they are extra. They're not a lot extra though, considering you get live 1-hour sessions every week. I think there's 35 weeks, plus all the extra parties and stuff like that, and review sessions. For that, I think I don't even remember how much it is. It's less than $100. So you can't even sign up for a class on like OutSchool or anything like that for that price. So yes. How does the study hall work? Study hall is actually for the math program. For science, we call it Open Lab. It's where you just have one-on-one time with the teacher. Is Brian's electronics included? Yes it is. How are live classes structured? So the structure is I present the content and then let the students go on experiments. And then depending on the topic, I will say, okay, if you're more advanced, you're going to stick with me for another 10 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit more and then give you different experiments. And so that's typically how they're structured. Do we need to register for the live? No, you don't have to register. I will send you a link if you're signed up. If you want to sign up, send me an email and say, hey, I was on the parent thing today. I want to sign up. That's great. So we love your energy and all the prep you did. Yay! You get a gold star too. This is super helpful. I can't get into the projects even though he wants to. Oh, staying on the class is going to be super helpful. Yes. So I used to do that. Okay. So when those of you who aren't part of my math program, this is what next week's going to look like. I'm going to be teaching 3 math classes right in a row. I'm going to take a quick 15-minute break, and then I'm going to teach science for an hour. So if I look a little haggard the first few weeks, you know why. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Okay, your classes have upped my children's excitement for science. Yes. My son, is there any way to remove... Oh, okay, so you have a science question. Okay, let's hang on to that one until we get... Let's see. There we go. For the whole semester, do we just stick to a weekly live class? No, you can go through the program at your own pace, on your own schedule. So if you want to join me live, that's great. Or if you want to wait until I catch up to wherever you are and my live topics match with what you're studying, that's fine too. Yeah, so we don't restrict your access. You're welcome to have access to everything. So have fun. Can we buy the parts? Okay, so yes and no. So Brian's class, yes, he physically puts these together for you and then ships them out. That's why you have to order them in advance so he knows how many kits to make, and then he ships them out in batches. For my program, so you don't really need much for Oliver. So for mine, we have the Science Mastery Diamond, which has about 60% of the materials you'll need for the program, and it has all of the... Here, this is the hovercraft. So for example, I'll say next week, I'll say those of you who want to do the hovercraft and you have the diamond, pull out the hovercraft kit. And the kids will pull this out and they'll start working on the hovercraft. And so, because we're talking about frictions, of course we're making hovercraft. And so when we get to underwater robots, in November, I'll say if you have the ROV kit, pull it out of the diamond. It looks like this. It has a lot of the hard to find stuff, like the 18-volt motors, the propellers, the gear pulleys, all that stuff is in there. It doesn't have everything, so just know that you'll need to source some parts. But the hard to find stuff, the wires, all the batteries are in there. Like it's a good thing to get if parts are really hard to find. And it doesn't have everything because the program's still growing. So it had what the program had about 5 years ago. Okay. 2 for electronics, 1 for coding. Okay, so there are 3 boxes like this. Okay, so you'll have 2 of these if you're doing electronics. You can just do just electronics or just coding, or you can do both. My kids are actually going to be doing both. And so my youngest is his first time through Brian's content, and he is really excited. So that's actually his box. So they're excited. Let's see. It's cold where you live. Okay. Yes, Aurora. Wow. Perfect. What will live classes focus on? Brian's classes. So he has a full schedule and he has a workbook that you can print out from his website. Do you guys know this? So contact Brian at superchargedscience.com. Contact him today and ask him to be added to his personal list. And so he will send out special updates, notifications. If you're doing his series of classes, he has a special list he maintains. So you want to get on his list. If you're in his classes, you should be on that. So Brian at superchargedscience.com. Supercharged is past tense. Okay. The teaching schedule says microbiology is at 12 p.m. So that's Pacific time. So that would be 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you can't make those, the recordings will be posted to Unit 26, to the biology. You thought my biology stories were funny? Good. I get a gold star. Thank you for everything you've done. As a student, I was wondering if we could have more advanced design challenges available for middle schoolers. That's an interesting idea. Let me think about that. That's good. I like it. I'm going to put that in my clipboard here. Okay. Where do we find questions? Oh, I don't mind your questions. Ask me any question. In fact, parents, feel free to talk right over me. If you want to ask a question, just hit that unmute button and let's chat because you got me for 10 more minutes. I'm just going
Hi, Aurora.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So Going back to my question before about the record keeping and the transcripts.
Yes.
So you were mentioning our organization. So we're homeschooled. We're in New Jersey.
Okay.
From what I understand, the rules here are pretty lax. But how would you recommend we keep all of the grades, the records? There's nothing inside the platform that does it.
Correct.
We have to kind of keep that on our own and just kind of keep a folder for him for every year until he graduates.
Oh, beautiful. Great. So what level is he at now? What grade is he at?
So ninth grade. He's starting ninth.
You actually have a tracker and everything, but it's all done on paper. So let me show you. So for the high school section, where's high school? There we go. So for high school, what level of math is he at?
He's starting Algebra 1.
Okay, all right. So don't do physics until you've got Algebra 2 concurrently or under his belt. So start with chemistry. If you're in the high school section, again, a ninth grader can also work through everything we just talked about here. But specifically, this is a high school level chemistry course. There is a course outline you can download. We do recommend a textbook as a resource. And then when you get to the first lesson here, the high school section is organized differently. It'll lead you through every day sequentially in one path. And it has the planner was on the other page. So there is a packet you'll download, and the first couple of pages has line by line what you're going to be covering every day. And then there will be homework assignments and quizzes, and then that's what you can record. And then you can also keep track of the labs and just have the labs printed out when they're completed. And then he can complete them, and that would be the lab section. So there's a lecture section, a homework section, and a lab section, and that together is more than enough proof that you did something this year. Here we go, homework problem set 1.
Amazing.
Yeah, so here's homework problem set number 1. And so it's a regular high school chemistry course, and the answers are at the back. Does that help?
That's awesome. It helps a lot. Thank you very much for that. So this is being recorded, right? So I can go back to this and re-see that so that I can go back and kind of take my own notes.
Yes.
I appreciate your energy as well, but I don't compute as fast as you talk. So,
no, it's okay.
So we could go back, so that's good.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to ask was, do we have any other questions about that? What's that?
Like pacing.
Pacing? Okay. All right. I think we're good. If we do have additional questions, how do I get you?
Aurora at superchargedscience.com. And
Okay.
we do parent chats about once a month. And so you're welcome to
Amazing.
Yeah, you're welcome to come and bring whatever questions you've got. I mean, I spend about an hour to 2 every day just answering questions by email and on the phone.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Absolutely. All right. If you have a question, just talk right over me. Otherwise, I'm just going to answer some of the submitted ones. Where do you find kits? Superchargedscience.com, and then go to Diamond. Science Mastery Kits, and then it's the Diamond I was talking about. Is there a way to watch the beginning of this meeting? Yes. So as soon as we close out, go to my YouTube channel, and then you'll be able to see it. In fact, here, I'll put the link in Zoom for everybody right now. Okay. Okay. Here's my YouTube channel, and you could just go to, I am not a YouTuber, just so you know. I just have this so you have recordings of like informal stuff we do, like parent chats and stuff like that. So there, did it come through? Give me a thumbs up if you guys got a link. If everybody got a link, you did. Okay, great. Yes. Okay.
I had physics and.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Questions. Thank you for everything. How do we get the kits? Okay. So here, let me show you physically where to find them. I know I talk fast. I know. You just have to listen faster. Students hate it when I say that. I actually had a boss, and so I used to work about 18-hour days at one point for these events we would do that were like 7 to 14 days long. And I remember I was complaining one time, and I didn't think they were behind me, right? And I'm like, man, we don't even have time to sleep. 18-hour days are long days, by the way. And I turn around and he goes, I don't see your problem. Sleep faster. Oh, the things we do that make us who we are. Okay, so this is the main Supercharged Science website. I know it's hokey, I know it's old, and it works. Okay, so we're having a good time. I spend my time teaching kids is really what it is. That's why I don't make a lot of marketing videos. I spend my time with you. Hover over the button that says programs, and hopefully these parent chats kind of make up for all the things I don't do well in other ways. Okay, so hover on programs, click on Science Mastery Kits. The diamond is all 4 boxes. The silver is just box number 1. And scroll down to the very bottom and you'll see all the things that are included. And we have gold, silver, and diamond. And if you are interested in this, it includes 5 years access to the online science program here. And if you send Tanya or Crystal an email today and just let them know you're on the parent chat and tell them that Aurora authorized a $200 coupon for you. Just, I don't have a coupon code, just tell them I will give you a $200 discount if you're seriously interested in it, just for saying thanks for doing that. That's the steepest discount I ever offer, and I will give it to you. Okay, other questions. So we bought the diamond. The electronics kit in my diamond program is for unit 14. That is different than Brian, because Brian's, as I mentioned, Brian's classes are new. So he has his own kit, so you need to purchase those. It's one kit for the whole year. So Brian's kit, you purchase from Brian. Brian's email is brian@superchargedscience.com. And so one kit, whole year. You'll have more pieces. In fact, you open it and you probably scream and give it to your kids. And then and the kids will sort the parts. And then Brian goes through the entire kit over. And because electronics, because of the nature, it's not like chemistry where you use stuff up, except for batteries. And for electronics, you just use that stuff over and over and over. The small electronics kits that we include in the diamond are for unit 14. That's before Brian came on board. So those are older videos. They're still great, but they're not the same. Oliver's classes. Nicole, ask your question again. If you haven't gotten Brian's kit, that's okay. Just watch his classes and see if it's something you want to do. And if it is, then connect with him and he'll find a way to get you what you need. He's super easy to get along with. Let's see. You like Brian's classes. I do too. It looks like a newsletter. It's great for, the email. Yes. How do we get extra kits for your lesson? Extra kits. We only have one kit. It's the diamond, or the Science Mastery, and it's broken into different parts. So box 1 is the silver, box 1 and 2 is the gold, and box 1, 2, 3, and 4 is what we call the diamond. So it's huge. It's as big as I am. So if we sign up for the eScience curriculum, does this give us access to? It depends on when you signed up. So ask Tanya or Crystal. Tanya is Tanya at Supercharged Science. Tanya is spelled with a O, Tonya, Tanya. Or Crystal. Crystal is pretty easy to spell. Let them know. Ask them what you have access to. And if there's something that you want that we can't find, they'll help you out. They're really good at solving problems, especially problems that I tend to make. So one time they shooed me very nicely right out of the room and said, Aurora, stop helping. You're not making this any easier. I was trying to help on the admin side, and that's not my strength. Okay, what the topic schedule for Oliver? I have not gotten that from him. Let me put that on my clipboard. Okay, so I will get that and then send it to you this weekend so you know what it is, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, was that your question, Nicole? Hi.
That was my question, because we won't be able to make all of the live classes and how you have yours broken down by the topics. That way we can isolate the ones we really want to get to.
Yeah, I'm thinking because his school year probably also just started. He's a little behind. So I will get that and then send it to you, and then you'll have everything you need. And his materials are often very, very minimal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's so fun. Can we all just go out for coffee and just hang out together sometime? Wouldn't that be? Let's just do that, and then I can stop talking. I know this is supposed to be an orientation, but I want to hear from you. You're all laughing at me because I think I say that all the time. Like, let's get together, and then I get so busy teaching and I don't have time. Okay, no other online courses have even compared to Supercharged. Hi.
I want my stuff down there.
You want coffee?
I'm sorry, I
No. Hi, Jessica. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm putting the clothes away
Who's me?
Yes, it's you. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Could you just real quick? I was trying to pull it up on my computer. Could you real quick tell us again where to go for the like the supplies and the kits and things? Not for Brian's, but for the experiments and projects. Oops, sorry, babe.
So the okay, yeah. So let me understand you right. You're looking for the one kit that we have. So
Yes.
yeah. So we don't have kits. We've been looking into it. I just haven't had time. For that match the live classes. I don't give you a box for September, a box for October. If one of you wants to take that up, let me know. We're working on it actually. So the only thing we have right now is the Science Mastery. So you go to superchargedscience.com, click on Science Mastery Kits, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see the 3 kits and what they include. Superchargedscience.com. Just the mains, and then click on Science Mastery Kits. Hello. And you'll see it. It's okay. We like kids here.
Science Mastery.
Science Mastery. Yeah. All right. You guys have been on with me for so long. You want a funny story now? Okay. You want to know where Science Mastery came from? So I was at the Florida Convention Center, FPEA, and I also went to HEAV and CHAP, CHAP, all the homeschool conventions on the East Coast. I had it in my I had my car, and I just drove up the coast and did a whole bunch of them all at once, which is what a lot of homeschoolers do. I was a new kid on the block. We're in 2007, I think. I show up with all of my homemade, like, all the stuff that's around your house, like hovercraft made from, last night's dinner containers and all this stuff. I show up with all of these things, right? And my purpose is just to get people excited to do science with their kids. Like, I wasn't even selling anything. People flocked in because I was shooting rockets. we were doing, I didn't know you couldn't do a fire show indoors. I don't know why. And then I was doing all kinds of rocketry shows. I was doing some chemistry shows, and I'm a teacher, right? I don't have a product. Like, I guess I am the product, right? Because I wanted, but I didn't have classes back then either. I wrote one book, and I was selling it for $5 if you wanted it, but you don't have to buy it. And it was my science experiment manual, which now is in the diamond. And so people kept coming in. They were flocking. They were like, whoa, I saw rockets. And one guy comes over and goes, I don't know what's going on, but I know I have to be here. And they had like all these handmade things all around. It was hilarious. And people came in and said, I want to buy it. And so I can't tell how many people came in. They're like, I want it. I want it all. Just send it to me in a box. And I'm like, well, I don't have that. And they're like, okay, get it. And they're literally handing me a credit card. And I don't even have a way to accept payment, right? There isn't even a product. So I'm like, hang on a minute. There's this wall of people. So I turn around and I've got my little tiny cell flip phone. Remember those? So I go around that was actually, I think, the year after the iPhone was invented. So I go around to the back corner of the drapes. I'm like, honey, I'm in this convention. There's these hundreds of people in my booth. They want to buy something. And he goes, well, sell it to them. I'm like, sell them what? I don't have anything. And he goes, I got an idea. Go ahead and just get their name and phone number. He says, we'll worry about payment later. He goes, just call it the whole shebang. I'm like, the whole shebang? He goes, that's the name of our product. I kid you not. This is the conversation. So I go back out. I'm like, we have a new product. Who would like to be the first to? I didn't even have anything to give them to even show, right? I had people waving their credit cards in the air. Me, I want. I'm sitting there. I said, I don't have any order forms. I'm out of order forms, which was true because I didn't have any. I'm like, but I got some sheets of paper. Put your name and phone number on here. Don't put your credit card number on it, right? That wouldn't be safe. I'm like, name and phone number. Give me your email. My team will be in touch with you. We'll figure it out. And that was how the science we renamed it because the whole shebang anyway. So the whole shebang is the Science Mastery. And then people liked it so much when they finished the Science Mastery, they're like, we want more. So we made, okay, now we have the diamond. So that's where that came from. So that's almost 20 years ago. And yes, so that's where Science Mastery, I don't know if I've told you that story before. So there you go, yay! So fun. So, but it was out of all of the teaching lessons that I had done. So it wasn't like we went to a manufacturing plant and said, okay, how can we make money? Let's market. It was like, no, this is what I use in my classroom. Let's put it in a box. I will teach the teaching part. And now here is the stuff you need for the experiments. And so that's where that came from. So you can chuckle about that. I thought that was kind of funny. So my husband was just so funny. He's like, why are you hesitating? Just just take orders. I'm like, I don't know how to take orders. I can solve a math equation like nobody's business, but all right, so that was always fun. Okay, where do you find material lists? So they are listed on the live class page. Big blue button says click to download material list, and you have it for every month. It's also within every topic. It's also within every grade. So it's a button. You'll be able to see it. Okay, let's see. No other online course is ever compared to Supercharged Science. Even the adults in our house are excited when we hear Aurora and Brian's voice. Aw, my son has so much passion for science and engineering because of you guys. Thank you. They can also fix any solar-operated electronic device in the house thanks to Brian. Aw. Okay, great. Thank you for the club. Okay, live astronomy events. So the astronomy events, the ones I do in person, you can find at centralcoastastronomy.org. I'm the club president. We do those every month. They're free. And then when the weather starts to get iffy, we go online. And so the online astronomy isn't going to start till later in the year, but we will have online stargazing for everybody. Okay, questions. Our pictures are not, you're not even being recorded. Nope, so your beautiful faces are here, and then I'm going to throw you all in the trash. I meant that in a nice way. Oh man, no wonder why I can't keep friends. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so, okay. Okay, virtual coffee date. You guys like that? Let's do that. I will add it to my clipboard here. Okay. You, Tanya and Crystal, have really done amazing work. Thank you. Your customer service is outstanding. How big is the Science Mastery box? They are 20 by 14 by 12 times 3 or 4, depending on how the shipping warehouse ships them out. Flamethrowers. We do not include flamethrowers with the Science Mastery Diamond. I'm guessing that's a kid question. Links to best find items according a link to Amazon. Yes. So John, the question about order links. So if you download the master shopping list, I think by topic, they have the order links that go everywhere. And if it's a hard to find part, those will also be in the live class pages. We don't order link everything. So, like you've got rope, yarn, string, that kind of thing. But if it's 3/4 inch pipe insulation, it'll have a link to, so you can actually see what it physically looks like. There should be links. If it doesn't have a link and you want one, let us know so we can help you. But yes, there should be order links for everything. Miss Aurora of the Diamond, this one big box. It's a big box. If you use the payment plan for it, then when you make a payment, we send you part of the program. Make another payment, we send you another part of the program. So I wish you were my teacher. I am your teacher. What are you talking about? You don't have to be a kid. Okay. Yes. Okay, another funny story. One of the parents, she let us know that she ordered her own set because she knew her kid was going to lose and she wants to do Brian's classes. And so they ordered 2 kits. So we have mom doing electronics with Brian at the same time as the kid, and they're each in charge of their own. Now, you can share. You don't need to do that. But I thought that was kind of funny. And the mom's like, no, I need my own. So, and that happens in our classes. So the biology classes, yes, you can totally participate in. If you have a microscope, great. Oliver is there with his microscope. You can watch all of his recordings from last year as well. Where he's like, okay, this is how we prepare a slide. This is how we do a wet mount, a dry mount. And so I remember one kid, I jump on just to kind of make sure everything's going well. And a kid had asked, is the hairs on your body different? On your head, on your eyebrows, on your arm, is it different? And Oliver thinks and he goes, let's take a look. And so you hear, I come on when he goes, yank, ow. And then he's pulling a piece of his eyebrow and he's pulling arm hair and he's got them all on the slide and he's identifying them and they're looking and he's like, that's a great question. Let's use science to find out the answer. But it was hilarious. I'm like, Oliver, you don't have to pluck your eyebrows. And he's like, well, how else are you going to know, Aurora? But he's right. And that's how you do it. Okay, so let's see. Yes, we do have payment plans for the kids as well as our online program. So yes, those of you who want to talk about math, can we do that tomorrow? The math program has so many updates. We just released the new website yesterday. We're going to spend an hour tomorrow going through it, and hopefully you like it. And if you don't, well, the old website is still there too. So we'll talk about math tomorrow. That's why Supercharged Science is the best. Let's see. Questions. Aurora's hours. Can we still participate? No, you don't need the kit to participate in live classes. They're 2 separate things. Originally, the kit was It has DVDs in it. Remember those? Because it was intended for people that didn't have internet. So back in 2008, internet wasn't really much of a thing for the common household, right? So we included the lessons and the video lessons on DVD. So if you don't want your kids online and you just want it still comes with DVDs. So the kit is completely separate on its own. People have been buying it and using it in the live classes because it has a lot of materials. It doesn't have everything, but it has a lot of them. But it was intended to be a science kit that was independent of the internet. That's why I told you the story about how it came to be. Okay, is there a live Zoom link for the Math Ready? Yes, it was emailed out. So if you just signed up for math yesterday or today, you may have not gotten it. Send me an email so we can sort that out. Send it today so we can get you everything you need. I'm going to send a reminder out, but I'm not sure if the system has you in yet. So let's make it. Okay, you get, when we purchase the diamond and get 5 years of eScience, is it still, you get everything. When you purchase a diamond, we give you absolutely everything we have. The whole shebang. There isn't anything else to buy. Like that's it. So most people don't get the diamond just because it's such a huge kit. It's just small group of you that have it. It's just people that really want that, then we just give you everything we have. Access to live classes, access to eScience for 5 years, access to everything. So when you sign up for just the science program, just the online curriculum that we were talking about here, when you sign up for this, it's just the online course. And then I mail you a little packet that has the gears and the propellers around like month 2, I think, because that's when you need them, so you don't lose them. That's when you need them for the Jigglebot, the laser light show, and the underwater ROV robot. Those parts are really, really hard to find. So I buy them in bulk and then just ship them to you. But it's just a small packet. It's not a big thing. But you will need to get, so the program is built on using regular everyday stuff. So that's why you want to, the live classes, even more so. So a lot of everyday stuff, straws, string, stuff you'd find at a hardware store, an office supply store, easy to get stuff. And if there's something that is not easy, you skip it and you just keep trucking, keep working on something else. Okay, it should be, let's see, will you start an experiment in the live class? Which one each week? So the ones we will highlight are at the bottom of page 2 of the worksheet for every single week. Those are the ones that we're going to be talking about. We often integrate several of those during the science time. So there isn't just one experiment that you're tied to, there's lots. Okay, so just pick and choose, just look at the materials. If that's overwhelming, give it to your kid. We're trying to teach them how to resource stuff, right? Give it to your kid and say, how much of this stuff can you find around the house, or stuff that's similar? And if you don't have everything, that's fine. And just circle the stuff that you have, and that will determine the experiments you're going to do. I couldn't get onto the new site. Do you mean the new math site, Amy? Then send us an email so we can help. Okay. So who do we email for the $200 off? Tanya, Crystal, send it to me. Just say aurora@superchargedscience.com and I'll bounce it over there. Okay. So you'll get what, yes, so if you're enrolled in the online science program, around month 2, you'll get propellers and gears from us. And you should have gotten a DVD. Those are some of my favorite experiments. And if you don't have a DVD, it's also online. I know DVDs are save a DVD because we're going to use it in, because you're going to need a DVD to bounce light around when we get to lasers so you can measure the wavelength of a laser. So keep the DVD, if for nothing else, if you don't have a DVD player, to use in experiments. So there, I sent you some materials you didn't even realize. Okay, so if you didn't get stuff, usually it takes the post office, I don't know, it's sent media mail, so it might take a week or 2 to get it. If it's been a few weeks since you've enrolled, let us know. Send us an email. So if you have personal questions about your account, can't log in, payment questions, you don't have something that you think you should have, you don't know what you've signed up for, send us an email so we can help sort that out. Send it to myself, Aurora@superchargedscience.com. Send it to Tanya, Tonya, or Crystal. Those are my two primary assistants that help out. How do you do it all? Do you give mom lessons? I can. And I don't do it all. I don't know if there's a short answer. I don't do it all. And so I just pick and choose the highest, best use of my time. I'll share some resources with you during that. Oh, I forgot to tell you my books. Those of you in chemistry, doing chemistry with me this year. We're going to talk about this in April. One of my favorite books. I have a periodic chart right above my head, and this is the book that goes with it. I don't know if the chart is still available, but the book is. And I love this book by Theodore Gray. Lots of good information. We just have this lying around, and the kids just flip through it, and it's got a lot of good scientific information on the side. Another good book I like for kids, I told you about this one. They're coming out with a new version in next month, so wait to get to the new version. But this is like an all-in-one, full color, and it's called Science Encyclopedia. You could see that one. But there's a brand new version. I bought the old one because I don't care about the little updates that they're making. So I found this one for like $9 online for people getting rid of it because there's a new version coming out. The other one by Theodore Gray, same author that did the Elements book, also did How Things Work. So there's another How Things Work book, which is excellent, the Mammoth ones. This is also a good one. So this is, if you've got a kid that likes to tinker, likes to know how things work, this is another good one. So these are just in addition, just some fun things to add to your library, your personal library. When I went on a road trip, I remember sharing, I got this awesome book. I was so excited. The kids just thought I was ridiculous. But I mean, this was like one of my favorite books I've picked up, The Colossal Book of Mathematics. Like, I'd be a terrible math teacher if this wasn't exciting, right? So I picked this up, and it's a collaboration of like math from around the world. And so it was this one of the greats in math writing. He actually took a world tour and then just collected different math puzzles, games, just ways of doing math from different cultures around the world, and combined it in a huge colossal book. So I thought that was fun. But yeah, that's not for the faint of heart. The rest of these, though, you could totally get. Okay, how are we doing? Any other questions? Do we send kits to the UK? We send them worldwide. We're one of the very, very, very few companies that will send it just about. If you are able to receive packages, let us know. There's a few places where it's taken 9 to 10 months to get to you, but we have ways of handling that, of getting them to you. We actually do that. One of the harder ones is India and Africa. Those are the two that are difficult. Though, okay, we can close on it. Any other questions? This is your big chance. You have a science teacher at your fingertips who is not caffeinated yet. I need to go get some coffee. Okay, so feel free to interrupt. I was going to tell you a funny story. Oh no. Okay, what were we talking about? We're talking about shipping. Oh, yes, I remember. Okay. Seeing how happy you are about a huge book about math. This is why you are inspiring to children. Okay. Funny. This is not a funny story. I wanted to show you a side of Supercharged Science maybe you haven't seen. So one of our missions is, so the mission for Supercharged Science, I always have it on my wall so I can read it every day. Outstanding science education for all kids worldwide, taught by a scientist who is truly passionate and inspiring kids to develop tools and confidence that the students need to explore and be successful in their world moving forward. So that's Supercharged Science. Now, in addition to what we do now with you, one of the things that we do is we provide people in other communities, so in other countries usually is where it is, with science for their science centers. And so we're also able to do that now with math. So for example, in Ghana, we have 5 science centers that people from local communities will walk 2, 3, 4 hours just to it's basically like an educational outpost. And so it's a place for them to come, to learn, to see what else is available out there. And we provide those because you guys are enrolled in my program. Part of what we have, when you pay for your enrollment, part of that we put towards scholarships for these programs that we have for others. So that's our way of contributing and giving back. And so we actually have several of them around Africa, Singapore, the Philippines, and I'm missing one. There's 4. There's one more. And so we've reached out to, and Ben reached out from different communities, whether they're governments or whether they're someone who's just passionate about science, will take us with them and install a science center, or we will be contacted with them. And so those are just some other ways that we're helping make the world a better place. So they love stargazing nights. They love it when we do like the field trips. They love being a part of that. And so those are done in a slightly different format, but for them, But just wanted to let you know that there are people that would never have this opportunity, but we are providing it for them as well. So, because we want them all to have the education for everyone is our little tagline. So, and just to let you know that we are walking that talk, and I'm excited. And when I have pictures that I'm able to share, I had this one picture of me, and I'm folding a paper airplane. It got sent to me from Asua, who's in one of the centers in Ghana. And there's a picture of me on a tiny little screen, and there's like 200 or 300 little heads, and they're all watching this tiny little screen, and I'm folding a paper airplane, right? And they're all watching. And and then there was the main assistant is explaining in their language what's going on. And then he had a big stack of paper, and that was like the project for the day. And the whole community of kids just went crazy wild for it. And it was such a beautiful experience for these kids. So anyway, I wanted to give you kind of a sneak peek of some other projects we have going on that maybe aren't as obvious. So yay. All right. Did we cover it all? You guys excited? Literally just fork your kids over and go have some fun. I will take good care of them. We start on Monday at 10. It's going to be great. Even if they don't do the live classes, we encourage everybody to come at least to the first one and just see what the classes are like. Ask all your questions. Get direction and help with where you are. You don't have to keep going with the live classes, just so you can have some fun with it and see that it is see if the program will work for you and your kids. So, and okay, one more funny story for parents. This will be the last one, I promise. So I've been teaching. I started teaching when I was 21, and I've told this story before. And I was dressed up. I put on old lady clothes. Did I tell you this, with like pantsuits and stuff? So this was in 96 maybe. I had fake glasses and I had the hair going. So I've been teaching for a long time. So I had a parent come over to me recently and say, I'm so glad that you were my teacher. And it was a parent. So I'm getting old enough now where I have parents, and then he's got a kid who's old enough now to be in my classes, right? And it's like, oh, I don't know if you've ever had this experience. You know, it was kind of a new experience for me. And he's like, I just want to say how much it meant to me to be in your class. I said, well, it's amazing. What class was it? And it was a university class in mechanical engineering. And he takes his hat off and he's like, I just want to shake your hand. And he's bald. And there's nothing wrong with baldness, but I was just like, oh, I must be really old. This is the feeling of no disrespect to him at all. It was just me. I was like, I'm so glad to have you in my class 30 years ago. So if anybody can relate, give me a smile. Anyway, so I just thought that was fun. And he and I joked about it and laughed. And he's like, I know. He's like, all the men in my family go bald early. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I'm just saying. It took me a second there. So we had a good laugh about it. So I thought that was kind of funny. All right, all of you, it's beautiful to see your wonderful faces. No, you're not recorded. Yes, you're going to get thrown in the trash. And next week and onward, for this coming year, it's going to be amazing. If at any time you have questions, not sure about something, confused, let me know. I apologize. It's probably my fault because I don't spend more time developing and designing things. I spend my time teaching. And I'm hoping these parent chats will smooth all that out and help get you oriented and get you exactly what you need. If you ever have feedback about the program, I'm open. Let me know. My door is always open. I love it when you're polite about it. Some feedback is not quite so polite. But I do like to hear about your experience so I can make it better for everybody else. The lesson plans came from feedback, the new lesson plans for the grade levels. Having student worksheets, that was also feedback, one for parents having the lessons ingrained in or integrated into the grade levels, that was also feedback. So knowing what it is you're looking for and that you expect and that you would like and find useful, I would love to know about it. So please do let me know. And if there's a topic that we haven't covered in science, if you can find a topic we haven't covered, I want to hear about it. If there's something you're excited about. So please don't hesitate, let me know. Brian's classes are new because of you. Oliver coming on board more frequently is also because of you, because it's apparently winter in most parts of the world. I would love to visit you, by the way. If you have this white stuff called snow, let me know. I'm going to be like a little kid. So I was born and raised in California, so yeah. So anyway, we can make California jokes all day. Okay, so I should probably sign off. Hello, I'm seeing an unmuted kid. It's okay. Go ahead.
I have snow where we are.
Right now?
I have not now, but we get snow here once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, good. I guess I'm coming to visit. And we have some snow experiments we're going to share with you in the winter. I know.
That sounds so fun.
So fun. You're going to be able to make your parents' faces go like this. What? How does that work? So, yes. Awesome. Anyone else have any last minute questions? The diamond, correct, does not include Brian's because Brian creates his own, and the diamond is created by our warehouse staff. Okay. Other questions? I think I got most of them. You guys gave me lots and lots of questions. Let me save these in case there's some I need to answer later. Okay. All right. All right, we're in it. So next week, we're going to rev up our engines and hit the throttle and get going. If you're part of the math program, I'll see you again tomorrow. I'm going to start with my coffee, though. And so the math tomorrow is at, you'd think I know, right? Tomorrow it is at, wait a minute. Tomorrow it's at 10 a.m. and it's a kickoff party. Okay, so, and then the parent is at 12. So the kickoff party is for all math students. Doesn't matter what their level is. We're just going to have some fun with math. And then it'll end in a short website tour, and then I'm going to take a break and then come back at 12 and answer all of the in-depth math questions. So, and those are all Pacific times. Alrighty, and I should probably send you an email reminder. All right, I will see you all soon. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend this time with your students. It is always my pleasure to be their coach, teacher, guide, and I love their smiling faces when they go, oh, I get it. So thank you for that gift, and I will see you in class. Bye-bye, everybody.